Okay, here we go. Today we're taking a look at the chest dissection. This would be dissection number, I believe this is number 4, the pectoral muscles. So how we get started with this dissection, as you can see here, is removing some of this connective tissue on the surface. Let's just make sure we outline the very first muscle that we all want to find. You can see this line right there maybe. Okay, there's another line up here. Okay, there's going to be another line up here. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to be working our way from the back to the front. The first muscle that we're going to see is called the xiphi humerales. This is a muscle that we were really careful not to tear during the earlier dissection. So kind of outline it. You're going to carefully get your probe underneath the xiphi humerales, kind of like a pocket, very similar to the way that we did the latissimus dorsi and the spinotrapezius. Free it all the way down to the midline. All of these pectoral muscles need to be freed up to the midline of the cat. Okay, again, using your finger, I'm now working on getting to the next muscle, the pectoralis minor. Now, very similar to the rhomboids, the pectoralis minor is actually bigger than the pectoralis major on the cat only. It just has something to do with being the whole quadruped instead of a biped. But cats actually have a larger pectoralis minor than pectoralis major. So you can see I'm freeing up. I got my finger under the pectoralis minor right here. Okay, fingers under the pectoralis minor. Freeing it all the way up to the midline again. Okay, and I'm way now up on the inside of his shoulder. So I've got two muscles pretty well dissected. I have the xiphi humerales and the pectoralis minor. I'm going to make sure he goes all the way to the midline. The hardest part now is going to be doing the pectoralis major and then something called the pectoralis antebrachialis. So I'm still kind of working this up, freeing it from the latissimus dorsi. There's a little bit of connection here. Just kind of work on getting rid of some of this fascia and fat that's going to be on the chest of your cat. Kind of cleaning up my two muscles. Now I'm looking for a line that I can find. You might barely be able to see this. Let's highlight it with green here. You might be able to see a line that is coming this direction up towards where my finger is. Okay, so we already have the pectoralis minor is coming all the way down here. The xiphi humerales is over there. It's underneath my hand right now. You can't see it. But then the pectoralis major makes a line from right where my finger is all the way down to the midline. Most common mistake is people go too thick on this. So I have a little trick for you guys. I want you to start the dissection up here where my finger is. You're going to actually see the gap maybe up here almost by the, kind of in the armpit of this cat. So let's watch and see if I can get this probe under there. Kind of starting there in the armpit, and I'm just working my way down carefully, trying to get my probe lifting up, and I'm eventually going to get my finger in there and let the finger do most of the work. The pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor are pretty well superglued together. So it's kind of difficult to get through these. Yes, you will get some minor shredding going on. It's absolutely normal. Very difficult to do this dissection and have it just turn out perfectly. Got to be really careful about the fascicles of the pectoralis minor, that you are not accidentally lifting them up. You're going to eventually get this nice little pocket, and the more you can use your fingers, the better here. Let's speed this process up. Carefully working my way down. Again, got my finger in there, doing most of the work with the finger. Then we're going to move on down to the midline. You'll know you're done with the dissection when it is completely freed down to the midline. It has to be down to the midline. Working my way down to the midline. Still freeing these two muscles up. And there we go. I'm pretty much all the way to the midline. It's a straight line. Okay, very good. Making sure I got all my things down to the midline. Great. I've got xiphi humerales, pectoralis minor, pectoralis major. All right, the next muscle that we're looking for now is called the pectoralis antebrachialis. It's a nice big mouthful here. You can see right where my probe is starting. Again, I'm going to start kind of up here in the almost in the elbow, and there's going to be a line that pretty much comes right across like this. This muscle more or less makes a T to the midline. So the midline of the cat goes down, and the pectoralis antebrachialis makes a ribbon throughout the thickness of your pinky all the way across, okay? Fun little fact for you, the pectoantebrachialis and the xiphi humerales, this one that was way down here, both of those are not human muscles. Only cats have them. So I know it's a pain to dissect it, and yes, we still need to know their names. It is only a cat muscle, not a human muscle. So let's watch as we do the pectoantebrachialis. Again, you're going to be just the same kind of care that you use when you separate the pectoralis major from the pectoralis minor. The finger is extremely critical to use here, guys. You'll notice these are very thin muscles. You'll see this on the demo cat that's set up in class. Very thin muscles. Use the finger as much as you can. What you'll end up doing is probably getting your finger underneath the clavodeltoid when you do this. Like my finger starts to go all the way under the clavodeltoid, which is in front of the pectoantebrachialis. I make this thing go all the way down to the midline. Careful not to go too deep. That's the most common mistake, is that you go too deep and you end up tearing up the pectoralis major. Very easy to do. This is probably one of the more difficult dissections that you'll have to do on the cat. So take your time. Okay, so I've made one pocket. Now the hard part is now I got to figure out where's the other side of the pectorantebrachialis. So I'm working on the other side. Eventually I'm going to get my probe through it. And right there you can see that the probe has now gone through the pectorantebrachialis. Let's see if I can just outline this muscle for you guys real quick. You can see the line I just went along all the way up to the arm. And now I have another line starting up here that I'm going to free up. And I need to get my probe all the way under this entire band. I need to move it both directions. Completely free up the pectoantebrachialis here. So let's watch how we do this. We'll speed up the process here. Again, everything has to come to the midline. That is super critical for this dissection. All muscles need to touch the midline of the cat. All your lines, I should say, need to come in all the way to the midline. Kind of like what we did on the trapezius group. We had to free them all the way up from the midline. So I'm going to get my probe all the way under here. And pretty much what I'm doing right now is pretty much separating the pectoantebrachialis from the clavodeltoid. As I lift them up, I'm just using mainly fingers and the blunt probe. Again, no scalpels allowed. I'm peeling these apart. You can now pretty well see what's going on here. Let's just kind of highlight some of the muscles, the finished product. That was what our cat should look like at the end. I see I have this muscle here. This is the pectoantebrachialis, my finger's going under. I see this muscle here, the pectoralis major. There's also this muscle coming back here, the pectoralis minor, and then the xiphi humerales is going to be underneath my hand that you'll see here in a moment, okay? So, muscle there, there, and there, okay? So only 4 muscles, but this dissection is a big pain to do. Okay, fully dissected. Notice one other really important feature I want you to notice about this dissection is that all of these muscles are like pockets. I should be able to stick my probe or finger into each pocket, but not through them. Just into the pocket, into the pocket, into the pocket. Now, obviously, the pectorantebrachialis is going to be a loop, and technically, the xiphi humerales is also kind of looped. But be careful. Do not try to shove a probe under the pectoralis minor and then have it coming out the side here, you know, making this into a ribbon. That would be very, very bad. You don't want that to happen. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the dissection. Good luck when you on this one. You guys start this in class.